If you marry that waitress, you're dead to us. My father's voice was ice cold as he stood in the marble foyer of our family's estate in Greenwich, Connecticut. My mother stood beside him, arms crossed, disgust written across her face. My older brother Thomas smirked from the staircase, already enjoying the show. I was 26 years old, holding an engagement ring I'd saved 6 months to buy, and I'd just told my family I was going to propose to the woman I loved. Her name was Emma Rodriguez, and according to my family, she wasn't good enough for a Whitmore. Dad, you don't even know her, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I know enough, my father replied sharply. She's a waitress at some diner in Stamford, no college degree, no family connections, no prospects. You think I built Whitmore Industries so my son could throw it away on some gold digger? She's not a gold digger, I said firmly. Emma works 2 jobs to support her younger sister through college. She's the most genuine person I've ever met. My mother laughed, actually laughed. Michael, darling, you're being naive. Girls like that see boys like you and see dollar signs. She probably Googled your family the moment you told her your last name. I never told her about the money, I said. She doesn't know about Whitmore Industries or any of it. Thomas stood up from the stairs, adjusting his Rolex. Oh, this is priceless. Little Mike is playing dress down with the working class and thinks he found true love. Dude, she absolutely knows who we are. Everyone in Connecticut knows the Whitmore name. That's enough, my father said, but not to defend me, to stop Thomas from wasting time. He turned back to me with cold, calculating eyes. Here's what's going to happen. You'll end this foolish relationship. I've already spoken to Richard Chen. His daughter Victoria just finished her MBA at Yale. Smart girl, good family. That's the kind of woman a Whitmore should marry. I don't love Victoria, I said. I love Emma. Love, my mother said with a dismissive wave. You'll learn that love is a luxury, Michael. Marriage is about building dynasties, maintaining status, creating the right partnerships. Your father and I didn't marry for love. We married because it made sense. And look how successful we are. I looked at my parents, 2 people who slept in separate wings of the house, who barely spoke to each other except at charity galas, who'd raised their sons with nannies in boarding schools. I don't want your kind of success, I said quietly. The room went silent. My father's expression hardened. Then you don't want to be a Whitmore. Marry that girl and you're cut off. No trust fund, no position at the company, no inheritance. You'll be on your own. Jonathan, maybe we should think about this, my mother started, but my father cut her off. No, I gave Thomas the same choice when he was dating that artist from Brooklyn, and he made the right decision. Michael needs to learn that actions have consequences. Thomas nodded smugly. Best decision I ever made, bro. Sarah was hot, but she wasn't worth losing everything for. I looked at my family. Really looked at them. My father, who measured people by their stock portfolios. My mother, who cared more about country club gossip than her own sons. My brother, who dumped a woman he claimed to love because Daddy said so. Then I guess I'm not a Whitmore anymore, I said. I walked out of that house with nothing but my car, my clothes, and my pride. 2 days later, I proposed to Emma at the diner where she worked in Stamford. It wasn't fancy, just me, her, and a ring that cost 3 months of my salary from my job as a junior analyst at a tech startup. She said yes before I even finished asking, "You're sure about this?" Emma asked me that night as we sat in my tiny studio apartment in Norwalk, a huge downgrade from the family estate. "Your family really disowned you?" "I'm sure," I said, taking her hand. "I'd rather have a real life with you than a fake one with them." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Michael, I need to tell you something." My heart sank. Was my family right? Was there something she'd been hiding? "What is it?" She took a deep breath. "My last name isn't Rodriguez. It's Rodriguez Santos. And my father is Carlos Rodriguez Santos." The name sounded vaguely familiar, but I couldn't place it. "Okay," I said slowly. "Why did you change it?" "I didn't change it. I just used my mother's maiden name. My father owns Santos Restaurant Group, 43 locations across the East Coast. He's worth about $2.8 billion. I stared at her. "You're joking." "I'm not," Emma said softly. "I've been working at Maria's diner for 2 years because I wanted to understand the business from the ground up. My dad started as a dishwasher. He wanted me and my sister to learn the same way. The diner's owner, Maria, is my aunt." My mind was racing. Wait, you're a billionaire heiress? And you watched my family call you a gold digger and didn't say anything? I wanted to see who you really were, Emma said, and there were tears on her cheeks now. Michael, I've had 5 boyfriends before you. Every single one of them changed the moment they found out about my father's money. They started treating me differently, asking for things, looking at me like a lottery ticket instead of a person. So you tested me? Yes, she admitted. And I'm sorry. But you just gave up everything for me, your family, your inheritance, your whole life, without knowing. That's how I know you love me for me, not for what I can give you. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Your father is worth $2.8 billion, and you're working the night shift at a diner? Was working, Emma corrected with a small smile. I quit yesterday. Now that we're engaged, I need to tell you the truth. My father wants to meet you. 1 week later, I sat across from Carlos Rodriguez Santos in his office in Manhattan. The man was 62, built like a boxer, and had the sharpest eyes I'd ever seen. Emma tells me your family disowned you, Carlos said. No small talk, straight to business. Yes, sir. Because you wanted to marry my daughter, who they thought was just a poor waitress. Yes, sir. Carlos leaned back in his leather chair and studied me for a long moment. I came to this country from Mexico with nothing. I washed dishes for 12 years. I saved every penny. I opened my first restaurant with $15,000 in a dream. Now I have 43 restaurants and more money than I can spend. Emma told me, I said. It's an incredible story. You know what I learned? Carlos continued. Money shows you who people really are. When you have nothing, people's true character comes out. When you have everything, their greed comes out. He stood and walked to the window overlooking Central Park. Your family looked at my daughter and saw someone beneath them. They didn't see her education. She has a business degree from Cornell. They didn't see her work ethic. She's worked in every position in my restaurants, from dishwasher to manager. They didn't see her character. They just saw a waitress. They were wrong, I said firmly. Carlos turned around. And you gave up everything for her. Your inheritance, your family name, your comfortable life. I didn't give it up. I traded it for something better. A smile cracked Carlos's stern face. Good answer. You know what I see when I look at you, Michael? What's that? I see someone who chose love over money, character over status. That's rare, especially in families like yours. He walked back to his desk and pulled out a folder. Emma wants to open her own restaurant, something different from my traditional Mexican concepts. She's been planning it for 3 years. High-end fusion, sustainable ingredients, social impact focus, smart concept. He slid the folder across to me. I'm giving her $5 million to start. She wants you to be her business partner. You have experience in finance and operations from your analyst job. She has restaurant knowledge and vision. What do you think? I looked at the business plan. It was brilliant. Detailed market analysis, financial projections, location scouting. Emma had really done her homework. I think it's an incredible opportunity, I said honestly. But I need to earn it. I don't want anything handed to me just because I'm marrying your daughter. Carlos's smile widened. You're going to fit into this family just fine. Here's the deal. You'll work in my restaurants for 1 year. Start at the bottom, learn every position, prove you can work as hard as Emma did. Then we'll talk about the partnership. Deal, I said immediately. I spent the next year working harder than I'd ever worked in my life. I started as a prep cook at the flagship Santos location in Stamford, the same restaurant where Carlos had started 40 years earlier. I chopped vegetables for 12 hours a day. I cleaned grease traps. I worked the dish pit during weekend rushes. I learned to cook on the line. I managed inventory. I dealt with difficult customers and health inspectors and broken equipment. Emma worked beside me the whole time, even though she didn't have to. We'd come home exhausted at midnight, smelling like cooking oil and cilantro, and we'd never been happier. During that year, my family reached out exactly once. Thomas called me 6 months in. Hey, Mike, Dad's willing to let you come back. Just end the engagement and come home. Not interested, I said. Dude, are you really going to throw away millions because of some girl? She's not some girl, Thomas. She's my wife. We'd gotten married in a small ceremony, just Emma's family, a few friends, and a justice of the peace. My family wasn't invited. Your wife, right? Thomas said with a laugh. How's the waitressing career going for both of you? Actually, I'm working as a line cook now, I said. Just got promoted. Thomas went quiet. Jesus, Mike, you really screwed up your life? No, Thomas, I really didn't. I hung up. 1 year to the day after I started working at Santos, Carlos called Emma and me into his office. You did it, he said simply. You worked every position. You learned the business. You earned your partnership. He handed us keys. 317 West 47th Street, Manhattan. It's yours. 1,500 square feet. Good bones. 3-month build-out timeline. Your mother and I are investing $5 million. You two will own 60% of the business. We get 40%. Emma threw her arms around her father. I shook his hand, too overwhelmed to speak. We called the restaurant Roots, a celebration of where we came from and what we'd built together. It opened 18 months later to incredible reviews. The New York Times gave us 3 stars. We focused on sustainable ingredients, fair wages for staff, and a profit-sharing model that gave every employee ownership stake. Within 2 years, we expanded to 3 locations. Within 5 years, we had 8 restaurants across the Northeast and annual revenue of $47 million. I was 34 years old, married to my best friend, and running a successful business we'd built together. Then I got a call from Thomas. Mike, we need to talk. It's about Dad. We met at a coffee shop in Stamford. Thomas looked terrible. Tired, older than his 38 years. Dad had a stroke, Thomas said without preamble. He's okay, but it was a wake-up call. He's stepping down from Whitmore Industries. I'm sorry to hear that, I said. And I meant it. Despite everything, he was still my father. There's more, Thomas continued. The company's struggling. Dad made some bad investments. We're not bankrupt, but we're hurting. He wants to see you. Why? Thomas looked uncomfortable. Because I can't save it. I've been running operations for 3 years, and I'm in over my head. Dad thinks maybe you could help. 1 week later, I sat in my father's study, the same room where he'd disowned me 8 years earlier. He looked smaller now, older, vulnerable. Michael, he said quietly, I was wrong about Emma. I know. I saw the article in Forbes, Roots Restaurant Group building empire on ethics. You and Emma built something remarkable. We did, I agreed. I need your help, my father said, and I could see how much it cost him to admit it. Whitmore Industries is failing. Thomas doesn't have the vision or the drive to turn it around. You do. What are you asking? Come back, be CEO, save the family company. I looked at this man who'd valued money and status over love and character, who'd disowned me for choosing the wrong kind of woman, who'd built an empire but lost his family in the process. No, I said simply. My father's face fell. Michael, please. I'm not finished, I interrupted. I won't be CEO, but I'll consult. I'll help Thomas restructure. I'll teach him what I've learned about sustainable business practices and ethical leadership on one condition. Anything. You apologize to Emma. A real apology. For what you called her. For how you treated her. For everything. My father nodded slowly. I'll do it. 2 days later, my parents came to the Roots for dinner. The restaurant was packed, but Emma had reserved our best table. My father and mother sat across from Emma and me, looking deeply uncomfortable in their formal clothes while surrounded by our casual, vibrant restaurant atmosphere. Emma, my father began, his voice shaking slightly, I owe you an apology. I judged you without knowing you. I saw only what I wanted to see, someone I thought wasn't good enough for my son. I was wrong. You're an incredible businesswoman, and you've made Michael happier than I ever saw him in our home. I'm sorry. Emma reached across the table and took his hand. Thank you, Mr. Whitmore. That means a lot. My mother was crying softly. I'm sorry too, Emma. And Michael. We chose status over family, and we lost you because of it. Over the next 2 years, I helped Thomas restructure Whitmore Industries. We shifted focus to ethical investing and sustainable development. The company recovered. My relationship with my family slowly healed, not to what it was before, but to something more honest and real. Emma and I just celebrated our 10th anniversary. Roots Restaurant Group now has 22 locations. We've created jobs for over 600 people and donated millions to culinary education programs. My father retired last year and asked if he could work part-time as a host at our flagship location. "I want to learn," he told me. "I want to understand what you and Emma built." Watching my 70-year-old father greet customers and clear tables has been one of the strangest and most beautiful things I've ever experienced. Here's the first lesson I learned from this experience. True character is revealed not when people have everything, but when they have to choose between comfort and conviction. Anyone can make easy choices when there's no cost, but when you're forced to decide between money and love, status and integrity, family approval and personal truth, that's when you discover who you really are. I could have had a trust fund and a corner office, but I would have lost myself in the process. Here's the second lesson. The people who judge others by their circumstances rather than their character will always miss out on life's greatest treasures. My family looked at Emma and saw a waitress. They never looked deeper to see her education, her work ethic, her brilliant mind, or her beautiful heart. When you judge people by their job titles, bank accounts, or social status instead of their values and character, you don't just hurt them, you rob yourself of meaningful connections and opportunities. Real wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in the quality of people you surround yourself with and the integrity with which you live your life. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button, drop a comment and tell me, would you choose love over millions? And hey, if you enjoyed this journey from mansion to kitchen to empire, subscribe for more incredible stories. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss the next one. See you in the next story.